Welcome, luxury enthusiasts, to the Luxury Travelers Podcast, hosted by Rodney George. The ultimate passport to opulent destinations, extravagant experiences, and unparalleled indulgence. Whether one is a seasoned jet setter or daydreaming of the next lavish getaway, the Luxury Travelers Podcast has it all covered. So buckle up and prepare for a journey into the lap of luxury. Now, your host.
Okay, well, good afternoon, or maybe it's even evening when you're watching the show, but I'm thrilled to have with me a very special guest today from Paul Gauguin Cruises. With me today is Liz Coleman. She's the Vice President of Sales for Paul Gauguin, and I met her about a week and a half ago for the very first time. Familiar with their product, love what they do, and especially where they're domiciled. And so Liz has agreed to come on the show and tell us all about why Paul Gauguin, instead of all the other brands, if you want to visit the Society, the Marquesa, and the Cook Islands. So welcome to the show, Liz.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. It's a just-in-time conversation coming off the conversation that we had about a week and a half ago.
Yes, absolutely. Paul Gauguin Cruises has won a ton of awards as far as delivering a product that nobody else delivers.
Yes. Paul Gauguin Cruises' home is Tahiti and French Polynesia. We've been in the destination for over 25 years, and so we really do consider this our home. And when you've been in a location for that long of time, you have an opportunity to perfect the experience. And for that reason, we have been recognized year over year by Condé Nast, Afar, Travel and Leisure as being the best of the best in not only luxury cruising, but also providing an unbelievable experience in French Polynesia.
And for those of you who've never been to French Polynesia, I would urge you, stop the tape right now, go get a pad of paper, and put that on your bucket list. It is not a nice to do, not a can do, not a should do. It's a must do. Okay? And we'll wait for you.
It is a must do. And this is one of those places in the world, Rodney, that most people dream about visiting, but they don't really know where it is or how to get there or really what's it all about. So I'm really excited to tell you all about that today.
Well, let's get started. I mean, you guys do anything from a week to 3 weeks. So it just depends on how much of those beautiful South Pacific islands that you want to see between the Society, the Cook, and the Marquesa. So please tell us all about that.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let's put it on the map for everyone for just a moment, just to tell your audience where it is. So if you can get yourselves to Los Angeles, we are about 8 hours into Tahiti. So we are equidistant south of the equator as Hawaii is north of the equator. And I'm sure some of your listeners have been to Hawaii, maybe one, two, multiple times. We are on the same time zone and we're on the same weather pattern as Hawaii, but we are in this little piece of paradise in French Polynesia where our guests have an opportunity to sail a number of different archipelago islands called the Society Islands. You mentioned it. That's our 7-night sailing. We can go further out to the Tuamotus, which is out to the 10 nights. 14 nights out to the Marquesas, and then certainly we go to the Cook Islands, which is not really technically a part of French Polynesia, but rather about Polynesia. On each of these itineraries, the common islands that are included are places like we stop and end in Tahiti, we sail to Huahine, which is the Garden Island, we sail to Taha, which is the Vanilla Island, which is a full beach barbecue day, which is one of our fan favorites for our guests. 2 days in Bora Bora, 2 days in Moorea, and then back. And then we take that and then we overlay that on going out further, as I said, to the Tuamotus, the Marquesas, or the Cook Islands.
Folks, I'm going to tell you, people ask me all the time, where is your favorite place that you've ever been? And I go, well, that's hard to say because different places are favorites for different reasons. I said, why don't you rephrase the question and ask me, where's the most beautiful place you've ever been? And I assure you, There's two words that come out of my mouth. Actually, it's one word, and it's so nice I say it twice. Bora Bora.
Absolutely. And the reason why Bora Bora is so magnificent is it's not only the lush landscape, it's the jagged peaks or the kind of the mountainside, and it's so natural and so green, but it's also the water. It's crystal blue water. It's that water that you think is airbrushed, but it absolutely is not. So not only is it the landscape, Rodney, but it's the people. It's the Polynesians. It's the French Polynesians who are so warm, so hospitable, and absolutely so engaging, but they're a little bit shy. And that's what makes it so heartwarming when people descend upon this part of paradise.
I still remember the first time I went to Bora Bora, and we hired a guide with an outrigger canoe for the day, and he was going to take us to several places to snorkel. Well, the first place he took us, we got in the water, we put our mask on, I put my face in the water, and I thought I was in Shedd Aquarium in Chicago. I've never seen so many beautiful species of fish right there just by putting your face in the water.
You know what? That is absolutely the case. And with Paul Gauguin Cruises, we give you snorkeling equipment because there are plenty of times to go out and snorkel, go to the beach. So the fins, the snorkel, all of that. So you can just take it with you. We give it to you on the outset and you return it at the end. But the other great place to check out the marine life is the Tuamotus, which is the low-lying atolls. And, you know, if you're not familiar with an atoll, they're islands that have been sinking for thousands and thousands of years. And when it sinks, you get a bed of coral around the islands. And coral obviously attracts marine life. And so you get lots and many different species. So very colorful.
Extremely colorful. Actually, we went outside the protective reef and went diving with some black-tip sharks in the afternoon, as I remember it. And the guides did a great job of chumming the sharks to keep them away from us so that we could still see them and get some great video of those black-tip sharks.
I didn't know you were a diver.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Wow. Do you remember some of the other fish that you've seen or marine life besides the black-tip shark?
I'm not good with the names of fish. I mean, you know, beyond once you get past Mo, Larry, and Curly, I'm pretty well done.
But that's okay. There are lots of different species, lots of different variety. But I love what you said about the sharks. I swam with the sharks and the stingrays, and I live to tell about it. So I think they are non-man-eating sharks that we have there.
Anytime I do something like that, my phrase is when I'm safely back on the boat or ashore, I go, well, we challenged death and won again. It was done very safely, and it was not something that we were forced to do. It was something that we were thrilled to do.
Absolutely. What do you remember some of the other things that you liked doing when you were on Bora Bora?
I loved having dinner at Bloody Mary's.
That's right. That is like a famous place on the island, but actually worldwide, it's known worldwide as well.
And I didn't realize until very recently that Bloody Mary was a character in South Pacific. I saw South Pacific, I guess, as a child. And so I've got it queued up to watch it this weekend because evidently the restaurant and bar is named after a character in South Pacific.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? That's a fun fact because I didn't even know that.
For those of you who are into fine dining, when you first walk in, you might be a little disappointed, but you will not be disappointed by the time the evening is over. You walk in and there's this huge dairy case and it has all of the different meat entrees you can choose from for your evening meal. You choose your meat before you go to your table. And you go to your table and the restaurant has a sandy floor. And so you go to your table, you take your shoes off, you get your toes in the sand, you get your bottle of wine brought to you, and it's just a fun evening.
I know. And a lot of people like to know what else they can do. And that is one that I definitely recommend when we're overnighting in Bora Bora, because on the cruise ship, we do spend 2 days in Bora Bora. So that is something that people like to do off the ship just to experience.
And you anchor not too far away from Bloody Mary's, the best I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the nice thing is that, the ship was purpose built to sail these iconic waters, to sail through and around this destination. And what makes it really special is that we can really get up close and personable with the landscape. And I also think, Rodney, that seeing the landscape from a cruise on the water side, looking onto the land, offers a totally different perspective. But the other thing that's really unique is the fact that because we have a very shallow draft, we can get very close to the land so that you can get into the little bays, like in Moorea, Apanahu Bay, and Cook's Bay. And the landscape, the beauty that surrounds you over, sometimes people say to me, Liz, if I'm going to take a cruise, which side of the cruise ship should I be on? And it really doesn't matter because we do anchor so closely, and the ship kind of moves around a little bit that you've got natural beauty all around you.
Yeah, that people ask that all the time, and it really doesn't matter. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah, you might miss something, but you may see something that no one else has seen. I'm always think of a cruise I did in Japan. In Japan, you have to go to a different country. You can't just cruise Japan. And so the port of call that most cruise lines choose is they go to South Korea. I can't think of the name of the port. But on the way back, we looked out. I was sitting on our veranda, and as far as I could see were dolphins. And I went to knock at our friend's door across the hall, and they said, "Come in here. You won't believe this." Well, they had the same thing on their side of the ship. So it doesn't really matter which side of the ship you're on. You're going to see things. And in this case, we saw the same thing on both sides of the ship, which is highly unusual.
Yeah, no, but that reminds me when you were talking about the dolphins, I've seen whales breach off the back of the ship. There's a whale season in the South Pacific, and it's like August time frame. And on several different occasions, I have seen them just kind of jump out of the water with their baby. And it's just absolutely amazing. And, you think that, let me pinch me, because you don't think that it's really possible. You think you have to go to the aquarium to see some of this, but it's really right in front of you.
It is literally right in front of you. I have pictures of people kissing a stingray on the lips because that's a little more intimate than I wanted to be, but some of the crazy people that were with us were actually, I've got photos of them kissing the stingray.
But I'm sure you have lots of other beautiful photos.
Oh, I do. And they're so blue. They're so blue that it hurts your eyes. I can remember driving in that outrigger that day, doing about 25 or 30 miles an hour, and you could see fish 20, 30 feet down as the boat was cruising, because the water is totally clear, and especially around Bora Bora, a white sandy bottom, which makes it just, it's like you really do think you're in an aquarium.
I know. And that reminds me, as you're talking about Bora Bora, we offer a couple of beach opportunities, beach days. One is a full beach barbecue day off the island of Taha, where we bring some of the water toys over to the Motu. It's the Motu Mahana. We bring the kayaks. But on Bora Bora, there's another beach opportunity. I call it a sort of a no frills beach day, and we bring the paddle boards over. You can bring your snorkeling equipment, and by the way, I've seen stingrays just kind of float by as I'm walking the beach. Pretty amazing. But on the paddle board, similar to your experience, you paddle board out and you're looking down, and parts of it are kind of shallow, but parts of it get a little bit deeper. But the fact that it's all so crystal blue, and what's more amazing is the ability to see the marine life just kind of all around you. It's pretty remarkable. And if you
carry this cruise just a step further and go a few days early or stay a few days over and stay in one of the beautiful, fabulous, world-class hotels, in my opinion, in Bora Bora, in an over-the-water bungalow, if you want to really immerse yourself in the culture and in the absolute beauty of this incredible place. So, Liz, tell the viewer what it is that once they're on board that really makes Paul Gauguin so special, other than these incredible destinations that we go to. What's the value add?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. Well, first of all, we feel that Paul Gauguin Cruises is the most seamless and effortless way to get around all the different islands, see and take in all that beauty and the culture and the like. But the first thing is that we offer an all-inclusive experience. And what that means is, because all inclusive means different things to different people, after all, we have 3 different dining venues, each with its own culinary flair. We have room service, complimentary room service. We have where gratuities are included. We have a complimentary we have a retractable marina that comes down off the back of the ship, so kayaking and paddleboarding are all included. And then finally, we have Wi-Fi, because Rodney, after all, who doesn't want to send some of those awesome pictures at home? So all-inclusive is one thing, but the second thing that I have to say, it's really the fact that we are providing an incredibly authentic experience when you are in destination. You know, the ship is really the means to get around the destination, but what happens on the ship is equally as important. For example, we have our own Polynesian hosts who by day are running different activities, and in the evening they're singing and dancing and really kind of showcasing what their life is like in the islands. And we call them Le Gauguin and Le Gauguin, who are they're Polynesians, French Polynesians who are born and raised in the islands, and they live with us on the ship.
It's awesome. It's an incredible experience all around. You mentioned something about it being an 8-hour flight from LA. I assume that's the best way to get there, unless you want to take a slow boat from Hawaii or something.
Well, you know, one of the things that, you know, like I said, that, you know, a lot of people dream about going to this destination, but they're not really sure where it is or how to get there. And so in a way, it becomes a pipe dream. So telling people exactly where it is and what are the flight options is really important. So Air Tahiti Nui is the flagship carrier that comes in and out of Los Angeles daily. They do have a flight out of Seattle that flies out, I believe it's on Thursday. And then you actually have a few more choices. One is using United Airlines out of San Francisco, and now Delta Airlines flies into Tahiti on a seasonal basis as well. So there are plenty of options to get there. And as you said, it's just 8 hours. We like to say, Rodney, it's like a movie and a drink away from Hawaii, but you don't have to go to Hawaii to get there.
I think you said the other night, it's 2 movies and 2 drinks.
Okay, well, who's counting the drinks?
That'd be a long movie, 8 hours. Well, I guess you could watch Gone with the Wind parts 1, 2, 3,
well, no,
4, 5.
A movie and 2 drinks past Hawaii. How about that?
Okay, all right. Maybe that's what it was. So that's how you get there. What other things might we see on one of these 7 to 14 night cruises, other than putting our face in the water? What are we going to see if we don't want to put our face in the water?
Well, that's a great question. We consider this a place for soft adventure as much as it is a place to kind of kick back and watch the world go by. So you might be someone that likes the comfort of a ship, lots of open space. Maybe you like to hang out near the pool. We have activities, for example, running on the ship, Tahitian dance, pareo tying. We have our enrichment program, our lecture series on board the ship as well. If you're someone that wants to kind of go off and explore and kind of learn and see and experience a bit more about the destination, certainly lots of water-based activities, either on the water or in the water. And if you're someone that kind of wants to go around and check out the land, then we can offer 4x4 Jeep Safari type tours around the island as well.
So never a dull moment, always something to do, even if it's just vegging by the pool, because most of your cruises have 1, maybe 2 sea days, and that's it. The rest of the time you're at anchor or in a port, right?
Right. In and around French Polynesia, when we go out to, say, the Cook Islands, there's a sea day going out and there's a sea day coming back. Likewise, going out to the Tuamotus. And if we're continuing on, then we go out to the Marquesas, which is much further out, but we really temper that with being able to stop along the way. So you're not spending lots and lots of time at sea. That's a little bit different if we're doing a repositioning sailing where we're crossing the international date line and heading over to dry dock. So you have some longer itineraries, especially in 2025, where we have what we call our boutique itineraries, where we're traveling from Fiji and we're ending up in Singapore. Some of those are some unbelievable itineraries. You're still getting the rich Polynesian culture. You're getting history. You're getting a beautiful landscape. You're getting beautiful water all the way around you. So it's a little bit different than French Polynesia, but certainly worth considering as well.
Yeah, that when you couple all that together and then you look at it a short stay, 2-3 nights at one of the hotels with the over the water bungalows, just to complete the entire experience, it makes visiting this part of the world something that you really, really, really want to do. I mean, I'm going back in December of this year with Paul Gauguin, and I'm doing another cruise in March of next year with a James Beard award-winning chef. So I'll be in the islands for twice in the next 8 months, and I cannot wait to get back.
It's going to be awesome.
It's like that old Leon Russell song, and those of you who are as old as I am will probably remember this, but he had a song called Just Can't Wait to Get Back to the Island. Well, if you've ever been to Bora Bora, or if you've ever been to the Society Islands, you understand what he's talking about.
I know. You know what I love about what you're talking about, Rodney, is the fact that, this part of the world has made such an impression on you. I mean, I remember when we spoke last week when you attended the seminar, we talked about it, the destination, and you told me a little bit about what made it so special. That's the piece that I hear over and over again, is that when people visit the destination via Paul Gauguin Cruises, they didn't realize what a special experience it would be. In part because we have this award-winning crew. We have 217 crew for just over 300 guests. So it's a 1 to 1.5 staff to guest ratio. They know a little bit about you. They know your drink. They're just so kind. They're so wanting to make sure that you have a great time. They know when to engage and they know when to kind of let you do your own thing as well. And it's all those little touches along the way that make an impression on people. And so when you add it up, you feel like you not only have left a family on the ship, but you've also left a piece of you in a destination that likewise is so hospitable and heartwarming.
All that stuff she just said is so true. And I will tell you this, and our clients are looking for smaller cruising ships, smaller groups when we travel. I mean, did you hear what she said? 300 people with a crew of 200. I mean, 300 guests on a ship. That's roughly 150 rooms if you do the math right. That's a small boutique hotel. It just happens to be floating on the most beautiful waters that you've ever seen. So if you've not gone to get that list yet, I hope by now we've convinced you that this is not a nice to do anymore. It's a must do. And I would highly recommend that you think about taking your adult children and perhaps even your grandchildren, because this is a family affair. And I promise you, you will create memories that will last well beyond the day that you leave this place.
So, Rodney, you said it, the families. Oh my goodness. We have a family youth program offered during the summer and the last 2 sailings of the year. It's called our Moana Explorer program. And it's presented by Te Moana o Te Moana Society, which is a conservation group. They teach the kids about how to take care of the marine life and the land as much as anything. And the best part of it, not only is it complimentary, but mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, and kids alike are really drawn to it because there's something for everyone. And it's caters to kids 6 to 15 years of age.
And that's very unusual because a lot of the luxury brands, especially the smaller ships, don't really have much for children to do. And there's nothing worse than having your grandchildren there going, Poppy, that's what my grandkids call me, Poppy, I'm bored. You'll never hear that from the kids if they go on the summer or end of year sailings with Paul Gauguin.
That's right. I took my kids about 12 years ago, and they're still saying, Mom, when are we going back? Still.
Well, you got to get them back so they'll, it's like the little girl, she asked her dad for an ice cream cone and he says no. And she comes back and says it again and he says no. And, a few minutes later, she's licking on one. So kids are persistent. Kids are persistent. And my grandkids are really persistent when they want to do something. But I tell you, it's so worth it. It is so worth it to create these memories so that when I am gone, that my children and grandchildren go, I will never forget the vacation that Poppy took us on to the Society in the Marquesa Islands. It was the most phenomenal memory that I have.
And they will remember it. I just welcome you and your clients to join us anytime when it is right. We're here to welcome you with open arms. So as they say in the islands, maruru. Thank you.
Maruru. And by the way, the earlier you book Paul Gauguin, the less you're going to pay because they have fairly consistent discounts when they first make itineraries available, and those discounts go away the closer you get to the sailing date. So it does pay to plan ahead. And I was going to close with my friend Dr. Philip Randall, who's a PhD in gerontology, and I met this guy 40-something years ago, and he's just the sweetest man. But he has a whole little bit of prose that he does, and I'm not going to read you the whole thing. I'm just going to tell you what the bottom line is. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Thanks so much for being with us today, Liz. It was enjoyable to see you again, and we hope that all of you take the opportunity to sit down and plan something, find some dates that work for you, and give us a call because we'd love to introduce you to Paul Gauguin and to the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places that this cruise ship resides in.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Goodbye for now.
Thanks for joining us on the Luxury Travelers Podcast. For more information, head on over to luxurytravelerspodcast.com to connect with our team or leave us a message. Until next time, safe travels and savor the extraordinary.